Okay, here we are with lesson 6, fluency with percents. So let's take a look at the opening exercise. The opening exercise reviews concepts learned in lesson 5. Answer the exercise and compare your answer with the answer key. Be prepared to share your strategy in class. Okay, you should be done with the opening exercise. So, if Corey and Everett have collected model cars since 3rd grade, Corey has 80 model cars in his collection, which is 25% more than Everett has. How many model cars does Everett have? So again, your strategy might be a little bit different. This is just an example. The number of cars that Everett has is the whole. 25% more than Everett would be 125% of Everett's cars. 80 cars is 125% of Everett's number of cars. There are 5 intervals of 25% and 125%. So I have to divide both 125% and 80 by 5. Well, 80 divided by 5 is 16. Therefore, 25% of the cars would be 16 cars. So therefore, Everett has 64 model cars. So what made this problem fairly easy to solve in our heads? Well, the numbers were easily compatible and shared factors with 100. So let's take a look at example 1. 75% of the students in Jessie's class are 60 inches or taller. If there are 20 students in her class, how many students are 60 inches or taller? Is this question a comparison of 2 separate quantities, or is it a part of a whole? How do you know? Well, the problem says that the students make up 75% of Jessie's class, which means they are part of the whole class. This is a part of a whole problem. What numbers represent the part, the whole, and the percent? Well, the part is the number of students that are 60 inches or taller. The whole is the 20 students that make up Jessie's class, and the percent is 75%. So try to solve this mentally, writing down as little as possible. When you are done, continue the video. Alright, so here are some possible strategies you could have used. 75% is the same as 3/4 of 100%. We know that 20 students represent 100%, and 20 is equal to 4 times 5. So 3 times 5 is 15, which means 15 is 3/4 of 20. Another strategy is 75% is the same as 3/4 of 100%. 20 times 3 is 60, and 60 divided by 4 is 15, which means that 15 is 75% of 20. So was this problem easy to solve mentally, and why? Well, the numbers involved in the problem shared factors with 100 that were easy to work with. Let's take a look at part B. Bobby wants to leave a tip for her waitress equal to 15% of her bill. Bobby's bill for her lunch is $18. How much money represents 15% of the bill? This is a common everyday problem that you can use every time you go out to eat, and your parents probably do this all the time. So is this question a comparison of 2 separate quantities, or is it a part of a whole? And how do you know? Well, she is leaving a quantity that is equal to 15% of her bill, so this is a comparison of 2 separate quantities. So what numbers will represent the part, the whole, and the percent? Is the part actually part of her lunch bill? Well, the part is the amount that she plans to leave for her waitress and is not part of her lunch bill, but is calculated as if it was part of her bill. The whole is the $18 lunch bill, and the percent is 15%. So again, try to solve this mentally, writing down as little as possible. When you are done, continue the video. Alright, so here are some possible strategies. You could do 15% is equal to 10% plus 5%. And 10% of $18 is pretty easy. Move the decimal point and you get $1.80. Well, half of 10% is 5%, so 5% of 18 would be equal to half of $1.80, which is 90 cents. Therefore, $1.80 plus 90 is $2.70. So is this problem easy to solve mentally, and why? Well, the numbers involved in the problem shared factors with 100 that were easy to work with. Could you use this strategy to find 7% of Bobby's bill? Well, yes, we can break 7% into 5% plus 2 times 1%. We know that 7% is not a factor of 100, so let's break it up into things that we know, like 5% and 1%. So 1% of 18, again, moving the decimal point, would be 18 cents. So that means 2% of 18 would have to be 2 times 18, which is 36 cents. And we already know what 5% is. That was 90 cents. So 90 plus 36 is $1.26. So 7% of $18 is equal to $1.26. So write either your strategy or a strategy that makes sense to you on your lesson worksheet and/or your math journal. So what strategies work best for you to figure out percents of numbers? All right, you have some exercises. Apply the best strategy to solve each problem. It doesn't have to be mental math. You can write your work down on your answer sheet or in your math journal. But check your answers after each one. All right, you should be done with the first one, and here is the answer. Again, if something doesn't make sense, make a note of it, compare it to your answer, and bring in any questions you have to class. All right, you should be done with number 2. Let's go ahead and check your answer, then pause the video and try number 3. All right, you should be done with number 3. So here's the answer for that. Check your answer against the answer here. Compare your process. See if you can find any relationship between your process and the process shown here. And then try number 4. All right, you should be done with number 4. Or it's actually, this continues for number 3. And here is number 4. And number 5. And number 6. All right, let's wrap this up. Describe how to find the percent that 12 is of 60. So 12 is a part, 60 is a whole, and we need to find the percent. Well, since 12 and 60 have a common factor of 6, or 12, we can write 12 over 60 is equal to 2 over 10, which gives us a decimal because 2 over 10 can be made the equivalent fraction of 20 over 100, and that would give us 20%. Describe how you can mentally determine the whole number given that 15 is 30% of a number. Well, again, you can divide both 15 and 30% by 3 and 5 to get 10%. If 5 is 10% of the number, then 50 is 100%. Therefore, the whole is 50. All right, we'll see you in class.